The BYD E2, it costs 12,000 US dollars. It's bigger than a BYD Dolphin. It has a blade battery with lithium iron phosphate. And whilst it's not the best, it's clearly not the best electric car that BYD manufacture. At $12,000, what do you do if you're Volkswagen and you're trying to sell a Volkswagen ID3 for double the price? I mean, who's going to pay that? It doesn't make sense. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Volkswagen have they've basically just begun selling vehicles from their Gigafactory, and it is legitimately a Gigafactory. They have a vehicle megacity where they manufacture new electric cars. It's called Anhui. It's spelled Anhui, and it's a joint venture, but basically the Volkswagen Group owns 70% of it. So it's the Volkswagen Group. They've just built this enormous Gigafactory. They've begun pumping out vehicles from that factory within the last few weeks. But I mean, realistically, what are they going to do? They just spend all this money, literally billions of dollars. But how do you compete? I mean, really, the factory there is building competitors to this new BYD electric car. The ID3 now, the price has increased in China to now it's around 20,000 US dollars. But really, if you live in China, and BYD have the name for EVs, right? Volkswagen don't. Which one are you going to buy? You're going to go buy a Volkswagen ID3, the base model, for 20,000. You're going to buy one of these for 12,000. I think it's pretty obvious what the answer is for the majority, at least more than 90% of cases. Now, here's the thing. If you don't buy the BYD E2 for $12,000, you've got about probably 20 or 30 other good options around this price range in China. And none of them are manufactured by legacy automakers. None of them. The BYD E2 is, it's kind of like a refreshed version of an electric car that BYD manufacture, but the price has come down by 14%. So BYD they've slashed the prices on all of their cars. Of course, inflation's been rampant over the last few years. BYD don't really care. They're saying, you know what? Even if we make a loss, we don't care. We want to kill legacy auto. BYD are basically declaring war this year. It's kind of interesting to see actually how incredibly aggressive they've been. Far more aggressive than Tesla has ever been. I mean, this is a level that I've never seen from a manufacturer in history. What have we ever seen a manufacturer? We see inflation, right, guys, go up by 6% for a couple of years, and instead of maintaining prices with inflation, BYD have reduced them by more than you would ever expect them to have done so. I mean, they're reducing prices by across the range an average of 10-20%. We're looking probably 15% average. But if you actually include inflation, they probably reduce prices by around 30%. That's incredible. The BYD E2 is part of the Ocean series. BYD have been manufacturing this car since 2019. This is the upgraded version. It's better than the old version. It's cheaper than the older version. Amazing. Starting price, 12,000 US dollars. And this is a pretty good car, right? It's based on the E-Platform 3.0. It does have the blade battery. It's a 43.2 kilowatt hour capacity. It's got a CLTC range of approximately 405 kilometers. So probably WLTP around 360 kilometers of range at $12,000. Well, yeah, it's amazing. The size. It's 4,260 millimeters long, 1,760 millimeters wide, but it's relatively high, 1,530 millimeters high. It's almost like a crossover between a hatchback and, maybe like a crossover vehicle, like a small SUV. Power, it's got the same motor as what you see in the Dolphin. So it's a 70 kilowatt motor, which has 180 Newton meters of torque. But at this price, you couldn't possibly think that this is a bad deal. It's an amazing deal, and it's actually more than enough power. That's over 100 horsepower, which is easily enough for an electric car that weighs this much to have plenty of power and plenty of acceleration. It can easily do 62 miles an hour, no problems at all. Now, this is what BYD said about what they're planning to do. BYD's core management team said at an internal communications meeting that the company will mobilize all of its strength in technology, batteries, upstream and downstream industry chains to fight a liberation battle in 3 years. Basically, they're saying within 3 years, they want to get rid of as many other car companies particularly legacy automotive companies, as they possibly can. And they want to get rid of internal combustion in China. So they're saying in 3 years, they're hoping they can get rid of internal combustion, period. In other words, every car will be EV or plug-in hybrid, basically electrify all of China. At these prices, realistically, I can see how that would be possible. And this is devastating for internal combustion. We're already seeing Nissan, their debt-rated junk, but Nissan have just said they have to downgrade their sales production this year. They've got to turn down their factories by 30%. That's a big difference. That means you've got factories that are running way under utilization. They're going to be probably making a loss because you've got to keep the factory going, same production line going, right? So you need to have a minimum number of staff. So that means your cost to manufacture your product increases, but then at the same time, no one wants that product because it's internal combustion. These legacy automakers, they're all in that same boat. Honda's in that same situation. Toyota's in the same situation. Mazda's in the same situation. General Motors is even in this situation as well. This is pretty bad for them. I mean, you know what? The Japanese automakers can always just keep selling cars in Japan. But outside of Japan, they're going to have big problems over the next few years because Japan, right? We see approximately 4 million cars are sold in Japan every year, but 28 million are sold in China every year. Thank you for watching.